Yo, 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 what's up? It's Diamond Studded, and welcome to Pop Politics and Culture here at iKon Radio. Respect the Underground. We just did the Arizona Hip Hop Festival, Festival number 10. Epic event. If you missed it, if you weren't a part of it, that show lost. But today we got Sir Will in the building.
What up, what up, what up?
And I just found out something I didn't know. Sir Will is actually from Compton.
That's normally the first thing people know.
No, like dead ass. I legitimately didn't know that. I just like really knew you because of Tony, and I was always seeing her post, and I'm like, who is this nigga that she's always posting? Because like Tony don't post nobody unless like she really fuck with him, and if your content ain't good, it's not gonna make it to her page.
Yeah. That's
So
a
I
fact.
started paying attention to you actually because of the post that she was making, and then I was like, oh, he actually does have good music, so like let me follow him back. So I have been following your movement, by way of Tony actually. And I'm like, yeah, he got a vibe. I saw how when you went down to South by Southwest, like you pretty much had a dynamic week and
Yeah,
was like
yeah.
back to back, show after show after show, and then I'm seeing you pop up like everywhere. I'm like, so he got major motion.
Yeah, we trying and vice versa with Tony. You know, if people out there don't know, that's my manager, Tony Renee. And vice versa, like people will see me posting and always be like, "Who's that? Who's the cute chick right there with him? Who's the curly hair right there that's always with him? Always decked out and fashion, always right." So they'll be like hitting her up like and start looking at her movements, through all my posts and stuff like that too. So typically, if you see her, you see me, and you know what I mean, other way around.
Oh, so we got like us a dynamic duo out here.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Nobody's bigger than the team.
Nobody's bigger than the team. I like that. Like you need a T-shirt that say that actually.
Yeah, that's a
Like
fact.
that's
That'd be next.
that's captionable right there. So how long have you been in Arizona?
I've been here, I would say like 10 years or so now. Like I came here, I was here before, and then I moved back to Compton. Then I came back. So in all, yeah.
So, your music journey, did it start in Compton? Was it something that you always did, or it was just something you started late in life?
Nah, yeah, I tell the story all the time. And Tony, you close your ears, you hear it all the time. But yeah, when I was a kid, DJ Quick performed at a block party right in front of my house. So basically, like how our street was, we had a block party every single summer, and this year Quick was performing, and like they had to hook up their equipment to our garage, the extension cord, stuff like that. And this white van pulled up. Everybody was outside partying. I had the DJ going, everybody out there. I'm little, and this white van pulls up, and Quick stands on top of the van, just pops up from the van, stands on top of it, rocking the crowd. And when I saw that it was over, I was like, that's what I want to do, and there was no change in my mind.
That was your defining moment.
Yes, it was like start writing them whack raps right after that.
So,
Yeah.
do you remember any of those raps that you had when you first started making them?
I remember there was a song actually when I was in sixth grade. I wrote a song called "The Little Most Wanted," and that was the song that I wrote that my dad started taking me serious that I could actually do music, because I won like 3 or 4 talent shows. I won, the talent show at my school, and I actually performed live on this show called Live in Hollywood, which was like our Showtime of the Apollo. And I performed that song. So here I am, performing in my, elementary and middle school talent shows. Everybody's, performing their favorite songs. I'm performing my own record. You know what I mean? So at that point, that's when I knew, like, it was a little bit different because I was writing my own songs at that time. Just pressing record on the tape recorder, going to the other side now, double up, do my backups.
Oh,
like,
man, he said something I ain't heard in a long time. He with the dub deck on the tape recorder.
Yes, that's all I had in my little room. So that's how I would do it, because I was trying to figure out, like, how they recording and then having underneaths, like doing the little ad lib parts. I didn't know how they was doing it, so I was like, okay, I got to put the tape record, then put the other tape, then do the second part. But then by that time, quality was bad. But hey, at school they was buying my tape, so it was a win.
You remember how like at the old school double tape decks, and it had like the little jack on it for like mic and for headphones.
Yep,
And if
100%.
you ain't have a mic, you could put your headphones
And still
in there
record.
and talk through the left
Yep,
ear.
yep, still work. Yep.
Like like a lot of people didn't know that you could talk through the left ear. Like when I found out that, I thought I was you couldn't tell me nothing. I was like, yeah, you can rap through the left ear. Your
Yeah,
headphones.
I had that little cheap. I had a little cheap. My mom bought me this little cheap microphone from Radio Shack back when when Radio Shack was popping, and I was doing my thing, and I would have even homies from school come over and be like, man, you know what I mean? Let me come over and record. And all I had was just this little tape player.
Look, I mean, you've been putting in work, like, since work been putting in work. So
I appreciate it.
When was the first time you actually got into the studio and started studio recording?
When I was I forgot how old I was, but I had went to this studio where Lil Bow Wow would record sometimes when he was popping. He was like really him. He was probably like in high school at that point. And I would go to the studio in Pomona. My dad met somebody, you know how I go, met somebody, and he was like, my son's serious about doing his music. And I went to, and he took me there to record my first track ever. And that was my first time ever being in the studio. I was probably, in middle school, something like that.
How did that make you feel?
It was the best experience ever. I was nervous when I first walked in, seeing the board and all that other stuff, seeing it, and you just watching this on TV, like watching MTV, BET, and they're like showing you how the studio looks. So I was excited because that was the first time I ever got to see something like that. And but soon when he pressed record, I recorded The Little Most Wanted. So I had this song that everybody liked, and so he was like, when I first went to him, he was like, rap it. You know what I'm saying? I would go to my dad would have me, I'm in the hood in Compton, and then I'm with my sister in Long Beach, and she would have me literally rapping my raps for all her friends, and they'd pay me like $20. So I was already making bands off.
So you've been getting show money since show money been show money.
Yeah. I'll be my sister be like, all right, spit that, and like literally be in front of all her friends. We in the hood, Bloods in Long Beach. We in front of Crips. We in front of everybody. We in the middle of neighborhoods, and my sister had me just spitting and be like, give me $20, and I rap. So when I was there and I rapped in front of them, and it's like, okay, you got something. You know what I mean? And then they set up a studio session about a week or so later, and like I was in love.
So you've always had a support system, it seems like, when it comes to your music from your family.
Yeah, my dad and my mom is like always been supportive. They always were the life of the party. My mom and dad start cha-cha and sliding, you know what I mean? They pull that shit out. So they was always supportive and always supported me in my music goals and stuff like that. They never was like, it's gonna be hard to make it in music, or like you have to go to college, all this other stuff, you know what I mean? They always supported me on, but I had to, you had to do your homework. You couldn't be just out here knocking people over. You had to do what you were supposed to do in order to get that support. But yeah, they was always kind of behind me.
So you tearing up the city with the Lil Most Wanted song.
Yep.
And so like you at the height of your like preteen career at this point, how was it for you to, have those type of accolades at such a young age and balance having like normal relationships with your friends?
Well, I was heavy into sports because, you know what I mean? We grew up playing football. My dad had us playing football, baseball, basketball. So I always was still doing that too. So the music was more on the side. So as far as like, it was I wouldn't say a stigma, but it wasn't the thing that you went around and just told everybody, I rap, you know what I mean? I rap, you know what I mean? Like people just knew because of the talent shows and stuff like that. And but like I was still just like everybody else because I played sports and I've always been like goofy. I always been playful. I always been somebody that you want to be around because I've always had that. I don't never have that like I'm better than somebody else. So I was always the goofy, smiling one. You know what I mean? That's never changed.
So you've just always been grounded and just been a real person. That's kind of hard to find. Like when you talk to artists who said like they've been doing this since they were a child.
Yeah.
They kind of lose touch with them as the artist and them as the person. So for you to have balance in that type of dynamic at such a young age, and you said you did it through sports. That's a great thing.
I think it's the support. I've always had the support, and I was lucky to grow up with both my parents. My parents been married over 40 years. So I think having that, and I'm the youngest of 3, so my siblings always kept me grounded too as well. So I think that's helped a lot. You know what I mean?
What sports did you play besides football?
I played baseball and I played basketball.
So which is your favorite sport and why?
Football is my favorite sport. I like hitting people.
What position did you play?
I played running back and free safety.
Oh, okay. Ouch.
Yeah. So I got to get hit and lay the hitting, you know what I mean?
So would you say you were better as an offensive player or a defensive player?
I would say I was better on offense, but I like defense more because I love get an interception or you know what I mean? It's like running for touchdowns. I would run for touchdowns all the time, but getting the getting an interception or a pick six.
Getting that pick six.
It's different feeling. You know what I mean?
Did you see that pick six that Jack Jones just got? I was like,
come on, that was crazy.
I ran that back like at least 10 times. Like I ran that back at least 10 times because it's like Jack read that play.
Yeah.
Like,
but how he caught the ball.
You thought they was passing it to him like the man caught a one-handed pick.
Yeah.
I was like.
And it was better because I'm a diehard Raiders fan.
Yeah, because the Raiders did go from the Bay to
Vegas. Yeah, we always beat Oakland. Well, when I was a kid, they was in L.A. first and then Oakland, L.A., then back to Oakland.
The Raiders been your team. Do you like the Chargers?
Hell no.
Fuck the Chargers.
Hell no. They've been our rivals forever. I hate Chargers and their fans.
You know what? I hate the Chargers too. That's why my team whooped their ass. I'm a Lions fan.
Hey, listen, I'm a Lions fan too.
Yeah, I fuck with the Lions.
I've always rocked with the Lions since Barry Sanders. And even when it was 0-16, I was still, you know what I mean? I was like, I'm a real Lions fan. Like, I was rooting for him at 0-16.
I'm a fake Lions fan because I didn't start liking the Lions until they drafted Chase Lucas.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So, once they drafted Chase, I was like, oh, go Lions, go Lions.
See, yeah, Barry's my greatest player to me of all time. So, that's my number one guy. So, I like the Lions because of Barry.
Barry Sanders, they have like a statue of him outside the Ford Field.
Yep. And
like, yeah, he's official. They said like that man broke so many different records.
He was him.
So many barriers.
He was him, and if y'all ain't seen it, I gotta check it out. They just dropped his documentary on Amazon. He got a new documentary out. I just watched it. It's dope.
Are you gonna have a documentary?
One day, 100%. One day, and I hope it's you know what I mean. It's gonna be a good one. It's gonna be like a movie. It's going to be a movie showing. We got to show, the lows. We got to show everything.
So, like, throughout this journey in music, like, what's been a point that you said, like, I know this is what I have to do and I'm not going to stop? Like, what gave you that, like, I'm going 10 toes in?
When I had my daughter, and as a person who grew up with both his parents, I had to be the best father I could be. So when I had my daughter, I had stopped doing music. Because I was like, I have to make sure she has everything that she needs, and make sure she's straight. But during that time, you know what I mean, my manager, Tony, she was, doing her other things. She does so much. She was doing other things because I had stopped doing music. But she would always text me every month or every other month checking, hey, what are you doing to feed your creative side? That was her question always. And I would be like, I don't know what you're saying. Like, what do you mean? She's like, I know you're a father now and that's your, you know what I mean? That's what you're focused on, but your creative side has to be fed. And she's like, you're a creative. You're like, you do music. This is, this is what you do. This is what you live for. Like, not everyone has that gift. And I would just be like, oh, whatever, I'm good. And I wouldn't write and I wasn't doing nothing. But the more and more time goes on that I'm with my daughter, the more and more in my life was changing that I needed to write stuff. I needed to get stuff out because I think as parents, we get to a place where we make every single thing about our kids or whatever, and we forget who we are. You know what I mean? And so that's what she was saying. Like, you can't forget what you are and the gift you have. And like, the more and more time that went by, I said to myself, I have to do music because I missed it. Like, it was something in my soul that was missing that nothing could fill it but that. So that, like, soon when I wrote my first rhyme again and I sent it to her and she was like, yeah, you're still him. And it was like, if I can go that much time without writing, and then it was like, you know what I mean? Like riding a bike, it was, you know what I mean? That's a gift.
And having somebody like that in your corner too that recognizes the type of talent that you have and wants to help nurture that talent, because like some people, they be like, all right, well, he don't want to rap no more, I'm on to something else, because we do know Tony do a million and these 3 things. Like she's just everything. Like, you need it, call Tony. You need an outfit, call Tony. You need a design, call Tony.
But I'm not gonna let her. I'm not gonna let her get off that easy. It took some get your ass up. Let's get to it, because she was a little skeptical. Like, you know what? I was managing some other artists and I didn't enjoy that. And I got my focus on, she was working on like doing branding for a company that she helped create or whatever. And she was doing that. She was like, so I don't know if I want to get, and I was like, I know it's going to get her, because she got a soft spot for me. I was like, I know it's going to get her. I'm not saying this over text or phone. Meet me somewhere. And we met. And then I talked to her in person. I'm like, listen, I'm not doing this shit without you. And then she was like, all right, let's do it.
Let's do it. Well, shout out to Tony, and
Yep.
thanks for getting back in the game.
Appreciate it.
Because when you came back, like I said, I didn't really, know who you were until she posted you. So I'm like, this nigga actually got some hits.
Thank you.
And when you talk about like quality versus quantity of music, right? So many people put out so much music, and it's not quality music,
100%.
but like, who's going to put out that song that actually sounds good, that you can tell that they actually invested something more into than just press and play.
100%. Yeah.
I'm like, oh shit, he got a good mix on his song.
Thank you.
I don't hear the YouTube beat tag every 8 bars. I'm like, oh shit, like, we got you one. And then, like I said, I saw you like everywhere, like doing the whole South by Southwest, doing shows in Texas, doing shows here, doing shows there. So like when you were like, and then my partner Benzo, he was like, yeah, I'm gonna go on tour with Sir Will. And then I was like, I gotta get in tune with this Sir Will, because everybody is tapped in with Will. So Benz was like, yeah, check his shit out, it's fire. And I'm like,
that's my guy.
I'm like, bet, like, Benzo said it's fire. Then you got Tony Renee. So I'm like, okay, that's 2, right? Like, I like you, it's winning at that point. I'm like, you got 2 people that I really trust their opinion is, promoting you. And I've never seen you before, never met you before.
Yeah.
The most I didn't heard was like press and play on Instagram or clicking the link and going to the YouTube video. And I was
appreciate
like, man,
that.
he has to be a really great person too, because when you like think about the people that you have relationships with and you know them as a person, they don't just deal with just any type of person. So I'm like, not only does he have quality music, he has to be a quality man.
Thank you.
Because the people that I know personally that have relationships with you, I was like, oh, he's official. I'm gonna have to get down with him.
That's not to cut you off, but that's the most important to me. Like, you can tell people how dope I am. You could tell people, but you're not going to really speak to anybody that has anything to say about me as a man, as a person. That's the most important thing to me. Like, because music is subjective. So you can say my music's trash. You can say I don't like his flow. You could say I don't like his pattern. You can nitpick, but like, you're not going to find many to ever be like, you know what, he's just an asshole, or I don't like his character, or you know what I mean? So that's what I stand on the most.
Yeah, I mean, and that speaks volumes, especially like as a man and as a black man in this society, because so many black men don't present themselves as kings. They want to be treated like kings, but they walk around acting like pheasants.
Yeah.
And then what I took away from some things that you said, like, you paused your music because you wanted to make sure that you gave your child a good life, because you grew up in a 2-parent household. So you wanted to make sure that you provided that type of lifestyle for your child. And that's
100%.
commendable, because you don't really hear many men, not only black men, but men in general, talk about the sacrifices that they made to provide for their children.
Yeah.
So like, that's just so dope in itself that you were able to take that break from something you knew you wanted to do to make sure that you had the stability for your child, and then you step back in it like you ain't never left.
Thank you. Yeah, that's because we live in social media, and that's the part that most people keep out. They just post the glamour parts, you know what I mean? They post, you know what I mean? So it's like you only see so much. But, I've always enjoyed having like interviews like this, or talking to the people to kind of give more insight to my story.
So if we were to say you can do a feature with any artist, and Tony said had the plug on anybody in the world, and she said you could have whoever you want right now, who would you pick and why?
J. Cole. He's, you know what I mean? It's not a feature he doesn't body. 2, he's going to push me because he bodied the feature. I don't never rewrite verses, but with that one, I probably would. So it'd probably be my dopest verse ever. and I just, I've always been someone who never's been in the a box as far as musically. You know what I mean? Like, I can make West Coast music. I can rap on the East Coast beat. I can make records for women. Like, I can do all of that stuff. And I don't think no one does it better than J. Cole. So, that makes it a match made in heaven to do a record with somebody like that, because where would we even start? Like, that's what would make me excited, because I don't even know what the record would sound like. It wouldn't sound West Coast. It wouldn't sound East Coast. I don't know what it would be. It'd be some dope blend.
Yeah, J. Cole is just a dynamic addition to anybody's
Exactly.
song. Like, I don't even listen to Lil Durk, but I listen to the J. Cole song.
Right? Yeah, 100%. But I gotta, and my biggest thing is I have to stand my own. You get what I'm saying? Like you're not about to press fast forward on my verse just to go to Cole verse. Like I'm gonna stand on my own to make sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And I like him as a pick. Like that's a solid pick because J. Cole, he's like the only male artist that has #1 songs and #1 albums that charted without him saying J. Cole featuring said above mentioned person.
Yeah.
So for him to hold that type of like weight on his own, like that's commendable.
And somebody that big that's had albums without any features on it at all.
I'm like, this no features, this is all J. Cole.
Yep.
And it's like hit after hit after
Yep.
hit after hit after hit. Like, but you had this one song, since we talking about people holding their weight on its own, you had a Wait Up song.
Yeah.
And they did a Wait Up challenge out here where like Blaze had all of the DJs remixing the song. So you had one by Blaze, you had one by Flash, Benzo did one, and it was so many different people in the Arizona hip hop community just like vibing with that song and posting it. Like you really don't see many people in the Arizona community post somebody else's music because everybody that follows each other is all rappers anyway.
Yeah, right.
The rapper that they follow. So it was like amazing to see so many people from so many different parts of the city just like posting this song that you were doing. So like, can you tell me about that song and where it came from?
Yeah, so the record was, it's funny because my cousin, his name's Rhythm D, and he's a legend. He produced Real Motherfucking G's by Eazy-E, and he's produced for Snoop Dogg. He's in Tupac's book. Like, he's produced countless records. And he works with a guy by the name of Antonio Reed Jr., which is L.A. Reid's son. And basically we were already making trips to Atlanta. And he was like, hey, I'm going to go down to Atlanta because he lives in Atlanta too. He's like, I'm going to be in Atlanta. I want you to come down, work with me and L.A. Reid. And he has these producers that he has. And the producers, the Loopholes, which they're dope. They produce, Waukesha by Moneybagg Yo. They produce Scorpio by Moneybagg Yo. They're on, DJ Khaled's album. Like they've been doing work. So my cousin and then guy with what's the old boy name? What's his name from Loopholes again? Keys. Yeah, Keys. Guy with Bobby Keys, and they got together and we were all in the room together and we're trying to kind of put something together on what kind of record we're gonna do. And the first thing before we even got there, Tony was like, I don't know if I want to do heavy West Coast. The first thing she said. She's like, I don't know if I want to do a heavy West Coast record. And I was like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I want to do either. And so when we got in there, Rhythm D started playing the bass line, that boom, boom, boom. You know what I mean? And I looked at Tony and she looked at me. She's like, oh, this is heavy West Coast. And then Bobby Keys, he did the hook part where you get the more up-tempo type sound where it's like not as West Coast. It's a change of pace, it's a change of sound. And I'm like, oh, this mixture, we looking at each other, we're like, okay, it's not just, you know what I mean? Like it's a mixture in there. And literally probably 5-10 minutes later, the first thing I was like, crazy on my little shoot game. She hopped up in the whip my boot thing. You know what I mean? It just came out. Like I'm looking at her, she looking at me, she like, oh yeah.
Yeah, you knew you had one.
Yeah, we knew it. And she's like, but keep that shit swaggy. Like, you know what I mean? Don't get like, cause I could get aggressive, I get energy. She's like, keep swagging it. So that's why it's so great, the dynamic we have, cause she knows, she's like, that tone, keep that tone. And I wrote the verse. And then in the hook, I just was like, man, little nigga, get your weight up. And we looked at each other. She was like, oh, yeah, that's it. You know what I mean? So right away, we just knew we had one. And we're just writing it. Then I think I just wrote the first verse in the hook. Then I went back to the hotel, finished the other verse. And the next day, we went to the studio to lay it down. And we, like I said, we were in Atlanta just vibing, having a good time. And I got to work with, Antonio Reed Jr., who's, worked with so many big artists like Khaled, Usher, all these big artists he's worked with. And it was dope to be in that element. But one thing that I realized is like, you have to have a team. You have to have people that know you. Cause he was telling me certain things while I was recording, like, hey, you should do it like this. You know what I'm saying? Give him input. You should do this, or you can swag it out this way. But the communication of him telling me is not coming. I'm not receiving it the same. I look at Tony, she's like, take your headphones off. She's like, no, what he's trying to say, I'm like, bet, go in the studio. Boom. Now I'm cruising. You know what I mean? And the rest is history from there. Like once we laid that down, You know what I mean? We knew we had it.
Yeah, y'all had y'all one right there.
Yeah.
You probably should drop that again.
Oh no, it's not one thing I've learned, and then to answer your other question, I'm sorry, I'm very detailed in stories, but we were always thinking of ways to kind of promote it, promote the record and not doing it the same traditional normal way, like create a TikTok dance or do this or do that. And so I was on the phone with John Blaze, who's a real supporter of the record. I don't think he does a set without playing Wait Up, right?
No,
so
he really doesn't.
He's one of my, for 100%, like that's my guy. And he was like, I don't know. And we're trying to think, he's like, let's do a DJ challenge. You know what I mean? Like, let's do something different. Let's release your acapellas and just have whatever DJs that want to mix it into, whatever they come up with. Let's do it. I'll start it off and then we'll kind of repost that and then go from there. And so Blaze started it still. And then we had DJ Epps, which is he's like a legend, right? He's been in the game forever. You know what I mean? He's in Miami. And he did one and he woke people up like, oh shit, like, you know what I mean? Let me get in my bag. And it was a dope thing to just see all the DJs get involved. All the DJs hit me up like, hey, I love this record. DJs in Detroit, Arizona, Phoenix showed they ass for me. There's so many Phoenix ones. But again, that just comes down to, just being genuine and like DJs reaching out to you and communicating and you having actual conversations and creating relationships with these DJs. And that made them, step up even more to put stuff out.
Yeah, that song is fire.
Thank you.
I heard that. I was like, okay. I was like, he slid on this, and then I'm like, this is a record. Like when you talk about like standout records and think about like what records made an impact in the community mm-hmm. and amongst like the rappers out here in general, like that's like in the top 5. Like
oh my God, thank
like,
you.
That's in the top 5. Only like I'm like biased though because I'm like a super big fucking Vita Ruler fan.
Yeah, I like Vita Ruler.
Like I be feeling like ain't nobody out rapping Ruler. Like
I fuck with Vita Ruler.
Like Ruler is like metaphorically like I just like he just blows my mind. Like and like I've been able to like watch him create. Like I did a song with him called Smoke Cloud and I watched him just sit up there and just hear the beat and just rap. I'm like. I didn't even fucking finish the first 2 sentences yet, but like this man just like took off.
Yeah, I like Vita Ruler a lot.
Yeah, Ruler Gang. I like you. I'm rocking with Young Bookie the name.
That's my guy right there.
Like Bookie got bars.
And
like,
he young, so it's like he ain't even there yet.
And he's like he's extra young, so like mm-hmm. I like him as a person though too. So like people like me, I feel like I buy into the person more than I buy into the product.
Yeah.
So like once I buy into you as the person, like I'm probably gonna buy almost whatever you're selling.
Yeah, support.
Because I've like grown to love you, and I think that's what I am with him. Like I've just grown to love him as a person so much. Like I'm really just buying into anything that he's selling.
Yeah, I gotta. He's been on me. Him and his team been asking me to do a record. I just been running around, but. I'm definitely gonna do something with him because like you said, I genuinely like him. Like he was when I performed Wait Up somewhere and he just came up to me. He was just like, man, I love this record, and it's when you're an artist, you got to put your ego aside to want to see other people win. And I think that's why I'm blessed because I love seeing other people win. Like I was Young Bookie. They did it was the freshman. It was like the freshman thing that they did. Shout out DJ They did their freshman thing, her and Two Tone. And I was up front while he was up there performing. And why I like Bookie is I was giving them some advice. When they were the music, the equipment, it didn't sound good where when you're rapping over your music, it was fine because the mic wasn't as loud. So when they were rapping over the music, you couldn't really tell because you're just hearing the music. But Young Bookie, he performs like I do. He takes those mains out and he wants you to like a real artist.
Merge says no main vocals.
Yes, so a real artist. So he doesn't perform that way. But when he was performing, you couldn't hear him as much because you can hear everybody else because you're just hearing their mains. But for him, he was like frustrated when I was like, bro, listen, one day, like, you're going to look back at this and realize, like, you're really doing this. You feel me? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're really doing it and people just vibing off the music. They're just hearing that, but you're a true performer. And I really rock with him for, like, getting up there and that's how he's performing. And whoever's telling him this is the way to do it, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I remember DJ Merger McVeigh. he did this whole big ass campaign about no main vocals, and he was just sliding niggas left and right for rapping over their mains.
Get the mains out.
Get the mains out. Get the mains out. And like you said, Buki don't have mains. You don't have mains. Big Doobie never performs with mains.
Nope.
Like Big Doobie, he's just so powerful. Like
his voice is
you just
strong.
want to listen to him anyway. When you see this big ass nigga walk in the room, like he just commands like that presence.
That's my guy. I rock with Buki
like,
too.
I fucking love them.
He was out there damn near solo dolo out in South by Southwest.
Yeah, Big Doobie was everywhere.
Yes.
Yeah, he got a lot of motion. So like it's like dope seeing so many artists in Arizona actually have emotion, because they say like, well, what does an Arizona rapper sound like? What is the Arizona sound? And like none of you guys sound alike.
Because it's a melting pot.
None of y'all sound alike, and all of y'all have good music, and it's just like a vibe. You're from Compton, Buki's from here, Doobie is from Detroit.
Yep.
So just seeing like people being able to take something from where they're from and then come out here,
exactly,
and be able to do that thing in like in a foreign land essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's great. And with the DJs like DJ Pest that has like a event every single week.
Yeah, he be busy.
Like he's always promoting the artists and stuff like that. So having these relationships is important. And I think like a lot of people don't invest in, quality relationships and building.
That's the most important.
Building meaningful relationships to where people actually want to play your song, right?
Exactly.
Because you can give anybody $20 and be like, hey, can you play my song? But are they going to play it that one time?
When
or
you're
are they
not
put
there.
it in rotation? Or are they going to play it at the worst time of the club when ain't nobody in the club?
Lights on.
Right?
Yep.
I think that's super dope. Out of all of the records that you've done, what's your favorite record by yourself?
That's out, or it didn't matter?
That people can actually look up, because we want them to go press play on your music.
It would still be Wait Up, because I love performing that record. It's like I can be cocky as shit. You know what I'm saying? Like my personality shines on Wait Up.
We gotta get him a little bit of
so,
that.
Gotta get your weight up.
Like,
Nigga, don't play
like that just swag. I think I was letting a DJ or something that heard the record, and they've been in the business a very long time. And the first thing he said when he heard just the hook part, he was just like, you know what it sounds like? He said, it sounds like that you're confident in every single word that you're saying. Like it sounds like you can tell this is not something you just started doing. You could tell like you had all the confidence in the world when you said it. So I think this is still my favorite record, because it's a testament to like how I am as a person. Like I'm walking in the room, I'm confident, my head's not down. Like I'm like, you gonna know I'm here. Like Sir Will just walked in the fucking room, and you gonna feel it. And it's not even on the cocky level of like you're beneath me. It's on the like, hey, how you doing? Nice to meet you. I'm Will. Like, how are you? How are you? It's good to see you. Like, it's gonna be love when I walk in, but it's gonna be confidence.
And out of all the places that you've ever performed this song at, like, what was your favorite venue performing this song at?
Would be when I opened up for the baby. I opened up for the baby in South Padre Island. It was right before we flew to South by Southwest. And the reason why the crowd was dope, they didn't know who the hell I was.
That's the one where y'all looked like y'all was at the beach.
Yes, but it was the nighttime show. So we had the daytime show, and we were on the beach. So it is on the beach. Then they had the nighttime show. But that nighttime show, there's something that probably will never top the feeling that I had there. And we talked to this day. There was a guy that was recording me on stage, but I think it was like 5,000, 6,000 people, something like that. And he was recording me, but he was so far back that I looked like a little speck. You know what I mean? Like you couldn't even see me. But he's recording me on his Instagram, trying to zoom in, so it was so blurry. And he's just like saying, wait up. Like he's feeling it so hard and jumping up and down, and he has no idea who I am, but it made him feel a certain way. And when I saw that, he at me and I looked, that changed my life. It was like the best feeling ever. So I don't think I can top that feeling. We went to find him and gave him some merch, because I was like, I gotta find it. I was like, where are you? He's like, I'm way in the back. And I'm like, come over to where you would, get the ticket wristband thing at. We'll meet you over there. I think gave him like a shirt or something. Like, yeah.
And hearing stories like that is so dope, because like you made that man feel so important. Like
he did more to me. He don't even get it.
and those are like the type meaningful connections when you dealing with with people and making new fans.
Yeah.
Like it seems like you just made you like a lifelong fan out of that man because he that one song resonated so hard. And when you're making music, like you make music for people to feel an emotion and like feel a connection to the
Yeah.
artist. So like that's a dope ass story.
Thank you. It made that trip was worth it just from that. And I was like, I was on such a high after that. Like, and I tell people that all the time. Like, it don't matter if it's 50 people, 1,000 people. Like, if I can make somebody repost, feel like that, and rock with me like that, like that's a successful show.
I'm up here looking at your hat because it's my favorite color, red. So tell me about this New Levels.
So New Levels, New Devils. It basically means that the more that you grow in your life, right, the new levels and heights that you reach, there's gonna always be devils and distractions, different things that try to pull you down. You know what I mean? So you always got to stay grounded and you know what I mean, stay with your purpose. So like when we came up with the slogan "New Levels, New Devils," it was like we gotta, just like I think we were talking about something earlier. It's like certain slogans, certain things you say. It was like Tony was like, well, that's dope. Like we gotta put it on some merch. You know what I'm saying? And then the merch queen went to work. Her and APC, which hey, thank you APC. I don't think really nothing out here in Arizona that's dope as far as like the quality of clothing and stuff like that. Like everything's going through her right now. Like she's so dope. Like and she we had the idea. She designed everything else, and her and Tony went to work. And
Yeah, that's fly as hell. And I like the message behind it too. Like when people actually wear a merch or wear something with a slogan and they actually have something meaningful behind why they're saying it, it's easier for you to want to buy into the brand
100%.
and actually promote that because you believe in, those similar values also.
Yeah.
I think you're just like a dope ass individual in
Thank
general.
you.
I think you're a dope individual in general because like we've had conversation off the record and stuff, and just hearing you speak, like you're a good dude.
Thank you.
I really rock with you. I'll fuck with you.
Well, I love like we said the conversation off the because it's my first time meeting you. So soon when just the conversation we had, it was like, where's the dull moment, right? It was like it was just easy right away. So I rock with you too. The most things is like when you're doing an interview is making it be organic, making it be, you know what I mean? So soon when I got to start speaking to you off mic, I was like, I'm like, this is going to be a dope interview because I know the vibe is there.
Yeah, like you dope. Like I follow you on the Pop Politics and Culture page, and then I always post you, and then you'll repost the content back. But like I just think in general, like your presentation as an artist from the first time that I was introduced to you, like it was a great rollout. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you have a great team behind you, and it's great people. And like I wish you all the success in your career.
Thank you.
And I know that like you're gonna reach new heights in 2024 is going to be real dynamic because everything that I've seen you do up to this point, and like I didn't know you, and I'm peeping all this stuff. I know other people are watching too, and you never know who's watching your page, and the way you carry yourself with like such a high level of respect and professionalism, like you one relationship or one conversation away from walking into everything that you need.
Oh my God, thank you.
Like it's like right on the verge, like
right?
breakthrough moments type stuff. So
I appreciate you.
I could appreciate that. Now we talk about like things that people know and don't know about you. What is one thing that you want your fans to know about you that they can take away from like who Sir Will is as a person?
Oh man, that's a great question. I would say you're not a statistic or a product of the things that you see in your environment growing up. I'm from Compton, and I grew up around drugs. My parents were on drugs, growing up. So I've seen it all. Like not everything was good for me growing up, but I've never smoked in my life. I've never drank. I had a sip of a wine or whatever for New Year's Eve once, and thought it was the most disgusting thing ever. And you know what I mean? But that's me. But where I come from, you would think totally different. So I want my fans to know, like, you really create your own path. Like you really are the person that you want to create. I've been in the mortgage industry for over 8 years now. And like that is everything that I've kind of done coming from my environment is totally the opposite of what they portray of what we're supposed to be like. So I just want people to know, like, this is your life is really your life. Like, you could, when people are like, oh, you could do whatever you want to do or do, like, you really can. It's about what you do, like, with yourself, with your life, with your dreams, with whatever you want to do. My nephew, he comes from my same environment, and he was in middle school, elementary. He's like, I want to be a chef. People look at him like, you want to be a chef? Like, it's like, no, bro, you like 6'5", 6'7", like you should be playing football. No, I don't like to hit people. I want to be a chef. So that tells you, like, you could really, you know what I mean, draw your own path.
And I like the fact that, like you said, you don't smoke, you don't drink, you don't do nothing. And it's so hard to meet sober artists, right? Because Tony will tell you, like, in my heyday, I'll put 3-5 in the blunt, like, and I'll be on the gram like, bitch, I'll smoke your whole sack in the blunt. And I'm smoking like that multiple times a day.
Yeah.
So, like, throughout the past year or something, I probably cut back, and I don't even think I smoke 3-5 in a day anymore. And that's a huge, like, decline from how I was smoking. I discovered Tiffany Montgomery, prophetess Tiffany Montgomery, and she does these fasts like on the first 3 days of the month.
Got you.
So it's like water only from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. and then raw fruits and vegetables from 6 p.m. until 6 a.m. And then you do your prayers and your prayer points, and just like I was just going through a lot of stuff in life, and I was like, like, I'm just going to try this. Like, what's the worst that could happen is I get healthy because I'm
right.
not eating no food, but I gain like a completely different type of mental and spiritual clarity from just, sticking with the process and going through it. And like the first couple of times I felt like I was going to die. And then now I look forward to these fasts.
Yeah.
And then I was in my house, and before I left to come here today, I was like, man, I still have the 1738 and the unopened bottles of rosé that we bought for New Year's Eve last year, still sitting on top of the bar, uncracked.
Yeah.
And I actually started an organization called Sober Night AZ. So we do sobriety events. So for people who don't drink, who don't do drugs, and want to have a fun, sober place to kick it at, we do sober parties and provide all NA beverages from like the CBD waters to the RSRV, Athletic Brewing Co., Syria Brewing Company. Toast actually make Toast and Joyous. They make NA wine that actually tastes like real wine. So like the company Joyous has a rosé that actually tastes like Nectar Imperial. And they have a Cabernet that actually tastes like red wine. And I had to read the bottle like 101 times because it's completely alcohol removed. So meeting somebody else who doesn't drink, because like I've never really been a drinker, just been big weed smoker Dymond.
Yeah.
It's like, it's crazy when you're in the rap world and you meet people who like, I don't want no drugs. I don't want alcohol, because that's like what the culture is telling you that you need to do in order to be successful. Like you need to, what Future say, Molly Percocet.
Yeah.
You have to be on all of these drugs to be successful. And then you look at people like Kodak Black, and then you see why you shouldn't.
Stay away from it.
You shouldn't do drugs at all. So like that's a huge plus too for you and for your brand, that you don't do drugs, you don't do alcohol. So like all ages and all people can come to your show, like from the youngest of young to the oldest of old. And they'll be able to rock and resonate with you, because not everybody does drugs. And I think that we do need rappers who don't do drugs and alcohol out here, and we need big ones. So children will see that, hey, it's another way to go about doing things. I can be successful without being wasted all day. Like I can put out hit songs without having to go drink a pint of lean and take these pills that I don't even know what's in the pills, and potentially die and croak.
And these labels is like some more of a safer bet. Now you ain't got somebody that you don't have to be worried about is so intoxicated that they messing up a play. You know what I mean? Or
it's not a liability.
Yeah, exactly. Not like you just kind of mentioned with Kodak. I'm pretty sure he's been booked for these past few weeks or so that he's been locked up and missing out on opportunities.
You can't make no money if you're a zombie. Like Nicki Minaj actually did an interview, and she was exposing how she went to the studio with Future, and how Future told her he don't do drugs and stuff. And so Nicki spilled the tea, was like, Future don't even do drugs. He don't do this. He don't do that. But yet he's making these songs because he knows what's selling, and he's selling you on this alcohol-filled, drug-fueled lifestyle.
And he stay away from it.
This man drinks fucking alkaline water and eats vegan. It's like...
because later on, you know what I mean, 50 Cent start talking about like how he doesn't, smoke and stuff like that too. So it's been a bunch of them that kind of come out and say it, but in their
after they
music,
made
you
all
would
of
know.
after they made all of their millions off you, they come out and say, like,
100%.
that stuff I told you to do to lead yourself down the path of self-destruction, I really don't do it. and that's just so disheartening in itself. Like, damn, you just like, you sent these people clean off. And now, bam, you just have these zombies out here while you sitting around on your island vacation somewhere tropic,
Facts.
counting M. So, like, I love the fact that your music, I can't find a song where you talking about something, you finna go smoke a blunt,
nah,
you finna go
you
drink,
won't.
Let's go do this, let's go do that. Like, because when you listen to the lyrics and listen to people what people say, like, your song lyrics match your personality and match the message that you're presenting. So it's like you're just like all around 100% authentic, and I love that.
Thank you.
Like that's such a vibe. That's such a vibe, and I appreciate you.
Thank you.
But before we slide up out of here, we go play this song where people can actually hear it instead of me just hearing it in the background, because I do really fuck with the Wait Up song. And if people want to find you on social media, like, where can they find you at on social media? Where can they go and purchase your music? Do you have any events coming up that people need to look forward to?
Yeah, so social media, I am Sir Will, and on the Spotify, Apple Music, all that stuff is Sir Will. And I actually got some stuff coming. One dope thing I'm doing, and hope they don't steal the idea before I get it out, so I'll get it out first. I'm doing something on SoundCloud called The First 48. And, artists are always doing music and stuff like that. But the way, as you see, we don't drop a lot of music because we want music to actually sit with the people and sit with, you got a hot record, you got to actually push it and not just move on. It's about the quality, right? So I want to start getting feedback and things like that right from the fans to see what they're really feeling. So what I'm going to do is it's called The First 48. It's going to be on SoundCloud, and I'll be posting it before I drop it. And basically, I'm going to let fans hear a new song, a new record that I'm thinking of working, and I'm going to leave it up for 48 hours, and I'm going to let people listen to it, comment, and actually be able to speak directly to me in the comments and stuff like that about the record. And
that's dope as hell.
Right? So me and Tony came up with that. We've been thinking about different ways of like music that we have, even music that we've tried, where it's like a different, stepping out of a different lane, where we want to kind of get people's feedback and how they feel about it. Because sometimes, like, let's be real, you can put 10,000, 20,000, whatever into a record, but that ain't really it. Like, it's not perceived well.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
You know what I'm saying?
The record you might think is the trash
exactly
record, like the fans, they
love it.
Loving that.
So I've been seeing, over the years, seeing people like putting out snippets, and they're like 30-second snippets, and it goes viral or whatever the case may be. So I'm going to put out, a record at a time where it's like playing like the first verse and the hook, seeing how they, react to that record, and being like, this one's getting, I might leave it up for another day because this one's getting so much great feedback.
And I think the fans will really enjoy that, like being a part of like helping you pick a single. Exactly.
So that's what, that's the next thing that we're doing. We have a mixtape that we're going to drop. It's called The Switch Up. And it's dope artists on there, Real Kyrie, Richie Evans. I got a record with Zaytoven from, legend Zaytoven. So it's a bunch of dope records on there we're going to drop. And I think what we're leaning to, I think we're going to do an exclusive, touch the fans first. We're going to do exclusive and drop it, for, a price, a fee, but to directly for my fans and not streaming services, and just drop it for the people who support me to actually come and support. Put the money back into the artist. Yes, put the money back into the artist's pocket not for no fucking chain, not for, you know what I mean? Like, to put more product out, to do more, you know what I mean? So we're going to put it out exclusively for the people to be able to download it and stuff like that.
Interesting enough though, like, cause I like pay attention to like a lot of numbers and statistics. People like tangible items, right?
Yeah.
And they like physical things. So even if you was to go get X amount of CDs pressed up, if you was to go put them on like a USB jump drive, something that they can actually physically have, you'd probably sell out more of them. And,
it's a fact.
And those actually count more when we're talking about like charting and reporting to like RIAA and Billboard, right?
Yeah.
Because if you have Shopify actually has a plugin, a music plugin that when you sell stuff from your Shopify store and you use this particular music plugin,
You get credit
it
for it.
reports, to your reporting. So you should probably like really jump down on
That's dope. Thanks for that idea.
on some physical copies.
Yeah, she likes the vinyl
Because I
stuff.
buy a lot of vinyls. Like I feel like I told Trina, I was like, yeah, if the internet go out, I got all these vinyls.
You good.
I can still listen to
My damn internet went down for 4 hours this morning. I was about to die.
Man, don't let your internet go down when you in the middle of a battle royale when you playing Call of Duty. Like, the internet went down, and one day I wanted to play Warzone, and I was like, I had a complete meltdown, and then I was like, you know what? I have an 8-bit NES. I'm finna go downstairs and
play some of these vinyls.
Blow in this cartridge and play fucking Mario. And I had the time of my life playing 8-bit Nintendo, and I was like,
they're still the best games.
Like, it was just so simple. And I was like, and I don't have no internet, and my game ain't gonna
but
cut
you
off.
good. Hey, Galaga was my shit. I can sit there and play Galaga all day.
Man, I pulled out the power pad with the track and field game.
Oh yeah, the track and field.
I pulled out track and field with the power pad and shit, and I was like, "Who? I didn't realize how out of breath I was."
What? Yeah, tracking.
Yeah, get to the gym and work out. But yeah, definitely think about some physical copies. I know, like right now, vinyl printing is on back order because they only have like made two major companies that pretty much print everybody's vinyls. So like a lot of vinyls are on back order right now, but like CDs. And like a dope ass like pictures and stuff in there, like so they could roll out like the CD booklet and it turns into like a poster or something like something like that.
Old school.
People can have like something real tangible, like, and even if you like autograph it and put like, say you only gonna make 1,000 of it, like you hand number them, those things are gonna really hold value in the
That's
future.
Dope.
So I'd probably go with.
That's why Nipsey was ahead of his time.
Yeah, Nipsey was definitely ahead of his time because he understood like this digital stuff not gonna be forever. Like you need your fingerprints, your biometrics and everything. So we are truly the lost generation because we can take our ass to Egypt and figure out Egyptology and figure out what they got going on. But like the people that's walking this earth right now, if my MacBook went out and everything was to just happen, can't nobody that jump into the computer and
100%.
essentially be able to see what type of people we were and figure out what type of person I was based on the data that they pull from these electronic devices.
100%.
That's why we need more physical things. So definitely physical copies. That's gonna be the move right there.
Yeah, we just been more trying to find a way to it's cheaper and these streams are not really touching the artist. You know what I mean? Like I'll get a little check every month. It ain't even some, we spend out one of our go get something to eat. Man, so
I can show you a horror story and pull up my DistroKid account and show you how I had this song called SMD did over 1 million streams, and when I looked at how much money I made from that shit, I said, "Fuck these streams."
Yep.
I made $1,267 for 1 million streams, and I was like,
that math ain't mathing.
I was like, so you mean to tell me that this song got played literally 1 million times and I ain't even get enough money to go to Gucci?
Yeah. And if you're not, like we were saying, like if you don't catch a Spotify playlist, you don't catch a TikTok going viral, like the people that know you, that support you, they can't even stream your shit enough. Like, so it's like, it's so hard to put that money back in your pocket.
When you talk about numbers, right? And it takes 100 times on Apple Music or Tidal, like one of the premium services. So premium streams, it's 100 plays, it's a sale. Non-premium streams, which is most people who use Spotify and free Pandora, it's 600 streams to equate one sale.
Yep.
At this point, I'd rather drop the price of the song to 69 cents and just short sell you the song.
100%, that's a fact.
Because it's like mathematically, it's not, and you don't have that much time in a day. Like I don't have enough time in the day to really, like, as much as I might love your song, I cannot listen to your song 100 times a day on my Apple Music to equate to one sale. Like, the human capacity is just not there, and I think it's not good for the artist. Like, and when you're people like what somebody else told them is hot anyway, right?
Yeah, so, that's a fact.
So if the right people didn't tell somebody your stuff is hot, then it's not gonna end into the right viral hands anyway. But like when I see Justice doing these hip hop fests and I'm seeing so many different type of people coming, and I'm like, you got these people coming off to see random people that they've never heard before because they just like live music and they like the whole environment. And I'm seeing so many people like selling their merch, and people who have no numbers on the internet, they whole merch table be like completely sold out of whatever that they're selling, because like people buy into you as the person.
100%.
And everybody on the internet is a rapper right now, so we don't have the mental capacity to find every hot artist right now. It's like, unless you got something that's completely viral or it's going to completely like kick you into the waters,
they ain't gonna see you.
It's not going to happen. And I personally don't believe in self-embarrassment in order for the sake of going viral. So
facts.
I'm not going to do nothing to embarrass myself, my family, or God to have you clicking on my content. So if I don't go viral, it's because I made the choice within myself that, like, you know, my reputation is everything, and I respect myself more than I want these shits and giggles and these laughs. So like, I'll find another way to get it.
No, that's a fact. That's what we're always trying to, you know, put together content and TikTok and all that stuff. I never think about, oh, this is about to go viral, because I don't do shit like that. It's like if something goes viral, it's something that was very organic for me. Like, that's the only way it's ever going to be like a viral moment for me, is like if it's something organic. But to be honest, I'd rather build my fans brick by brick like we're doing, because then we're going to have longevity in this game.
Like Tech Nine.
Yeah, Tech Nine is, and shout out to Mercedes. She's, you know, super tied in with Tech Nine, and you know, she's like family. And I just get to see his posts and see how he moves and how he's been around. Like, there's not a show that he's gonna do where there's not a bunch of people that's gonna show up.
Man, that's like, seeing the way he move, it fucked me up. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, you don't see him on the internet every day.
Yep.
That whole viral factor that we're talking about, you don't see it. But when you see these concerts, you
packed.
See all different type of people, black people, white people, old people, young people, you name it, they there, and they singing these songs word for word.
Yep.
They got on the t-shirts, they selling out all of the merch, and it's because like he's developed like a cult like type of fans.
Fact.
Because of this whole grassroots. So like, a lot of people think like the internet and the digital age is the way to pop. That was true when Soulja Boy first came out, because it was something new, and he was the first person that hopped on it when it was new. So nobody is ever going to have the Soulja Boy effect when it comes to, you know, this whole internet rapping.
Soulja did it first.
Soulja Boy did it first. And nobody's going to have that Soulja Boy effect. Like, I don't give a fuck who you is. Like, Soulja Boy did it first, and Soulja Boy set the blueprint, and everybody is doing this because of what Soulja Boy did. He was the first person that walked around and had camera crews following him so he could upload videos on YouTube. Yeah. Now everybody has cameraman following around him. Like, he did it first, and I don't think enough people give like Soulja Boy his credit.
Yeah, he don't get enough credit, and Bow Wow don't get enough credit.
Yeah, Bow Wow was the man. Like you said, you was at the studio that Bow Wow was recording.
Bow Wow was like, that's who I want to be. Like, that's what, if you sit there, if you a rapper and you watch Bow Wow when you were younger, if you sit there and say that you didn't want to be Bow Wow, you're a fucking liar.
You're a fucking liar.
You're a fucking liar. And we gonna post that too. You got that snip? Get that snip. Like, if you say that you did not want to be Bow Wow, if you're an artist, a rapper, any kind. I want
to be Lil Bow Wow, and he a boy.
A millennial. If you're a millennial and you sit there and you say that, hey, when you was watching BET, Mr. 106 in Park, you was watching 106 in Park. If you sit there and say, oh, Bow Wow wasn't my favorite rapper, or I wanted to be him, you wanted all those girls Bow Wow had.
Bow Wow had the #1 video every single day.
If you say you don't want to be Bow Wow, you're a fucking liar, because all of us wanted to be Bow Wow.
Everybody wants to be Lil Bow Wow with a Mickey Mouse chain.
Fact. He was him. He was like 7 feet shorter than Solange, but he had Solange.
Hey, when I seen Bow Wow with Solange in the Puppy Love video, I was like, hey, this nigga is up.
He the man.
And then that nigga did the remix to Jumpin' with Destiny
Come
Child.
on.
And I said, this
who is, he's the king.
I was like, this little nigga is with,
this little nigga got the fucking, got like, the little bandana, was it like the soldier little bandana? Like, man, Bow Wow was him. Then as he got older, he bagged Sierra. Come on, bro. Bow Wow was him.
Bow Wow had all the bitches.
Bow Wow had all of them. Bow Wow been knocking them down since middle school.
Bow Wow was the nigga that every nigga wanted to be and every bitch wanted to fuck.
Yes,
that's the perfect way to describe Bow Wow.
When I was growing up, every chick had his poster on their wall, faithfully. Every female I ever talked to
get your,
had his
Word Up magazine.
Let's go.
You needed your Bow Wow poster.
It was his picture on your wall. They had his fucking, it was a folder with his face. I don't think we'll ever see anybody. There's there's no
Jackson
one that
was
would
the
ever be that.
Only other person that was like that.
100%.
Everybody in the world wanted to be him. It was Michael Jackson, and then it was Bow Wow.
It's a fact. It's a fact because Bow Wow is like, there's not a girl that I knew that didn't have like a Bow Wow picture somewhere.
It was them little light eyes that he had. He had them
little long braids. He was him.
Ass braids, and then he was making songs like Puppy Love.
Shit, I got braids. Because of Bow Wow.
You know,
shit.
Romeo recently said that he topped Michael Jackson.
Yeah, like I got Bow Wow. I got braids because Bow Wow had them braids.
ICDC needs to sit his ass down.
Hey, that commercial was crazy.
First off, like, nigga, you ain't went to no damn ICDC college.
That commercial
we
crazy.
We all saw the MTV Cribs where you had your own house when you was like 11.
But the little
driving around.
But when they have them doing the little dance with that's what killed me on that commercial. ICDC college. That killed me.
Yeah, like Bow Wow and Romeo was like the first little kid rap beef.
Yeah, right? They wanted to create that. Because I heard, they told stories later that they never beef. Like, it was never nothing like that.
Yeah, when they did that Versus and Soulja Boy bought out Lil Romeo.
Oh, yeah. That was funny.
I was like, Soulja Boy an asshole for this one.
That's funny.
But Romeo said him and Bow Wow had the opportunity to communicate after that, and they realized that it was just like fan-initiated
100%.
garbage the whole time. And I think, like, even in today's music, like, the fans, like the fans do too much. Like, y'all need to get a job.
They have way too much access.
Yeah, like, some people might say, like, I'm tripping when I say, like, it was easier when you used to have to buy the CD, find a little address in the back, and send your letter,
stuff,
and hope you go get an autographed picture in the mail.
Facts.
Because y'all have too much access to these people. Y'all get on the internet, y'all harass them, harass their family. Y'all didn't learn how to do Google address searches and popping up at these people's houses. They have they have no sense of privacy, and y'all starting beef between them and other artists that, like, could potentially, like, do great things. Like, I love Cardi B, like, she's like my favorite, but I hate the fucking Barty Gang and Barb beef. Like,
if Nicki and Cardi did a tour, oh my goodness.
Man, like, numbers don't
lie.
Oh
my God.
We could pull this shit up if you go on your Apple Music right now and you type in Nicki Minaj, and it shows the top songs in Apple Music. The top song is going to say Motorsport. Like,
because that record together, yeah.
That the top song is going to say Motorsport.
What was so dope is they rap so different though too. Like, just hearing how Barty came off and then hearing how Nicki came off, like, it was a dope record. So if we got more of those,
like, even though Quavo was sneaky about how
super sneaky.
How
I ain't knocking him though.
How he did the business, like,
it wouldn't have never happened if he didn't know.
Cardi B and Nicki Minaj on the same track, and at that moment, like, those two women should have put their egos to the side, and put y'all egos to the side and just said, like, hey, like, I'm better than this, because it's so much money and it's enough room. Like, yes. Cardi B don't want to be the queen. Nicki, that's you. She ain't never called herself the queen. So never. Ain't nobody trying to take your crown. And Cardi B's fan base is completely different.
Totally different.
She taps into, like, Latino fans because she's a Spanish-speaking artist.
Yeah.
And, like, people talk about, well, she has one album that's still sitting on a Billboard top 200s because she has a Spanish audience, and a lot of those countries, they don't have, like, the type of internet that we do, so they don't stream all day, so they're actually still buying Cardi B's album, and it's y'all not even the same.
And she's a everybody is different. She's a singles person. Like, she likes dropping singles. Like, she drops singles. That's the route she likes to go, and there ain't nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that. Like, they should have just, played nice and did a fucking song with each other.
Facts.
And, just like, people would have loved if she would have came out with bongos and then had Nicki Minaj on it instead of Megan Thee Stallion. Like,
Nicki,
you know what I'm saying? That was one of them moments right there. Like,
I just hope they not dead. I just hope it could happen one day.
Dead ass, like, real shit. If I, like, back when they did the Ladies Night song and shit.
Back.
If they was to redo some shit like Ladies
Left
Night,
Eye was cooking on there.
I put.
My Chick Bad remix. Yep.
Had all the girls like dead ass. I would put Nicki Minaj.
Yeah, that was dope.
But I put Nicki, Cardi, Megan.
Yep.
I throw Remy Ma ass on there because that bitch can rap her ass off.
She can rap.
And put Big Lotto on that motherfucker.
Hey, listen.
And Lil Kim and Trina.
That's what they ain't talking. They'll talk about enough. Like, I don't bar for bar. Nobody fucking with Lotto.
Yeah, Lotto.
Lotto was her.
Yeah, Lotto could rap her ass off.
Because she falls into the. she makes what's popular, like as far as the sound, like she knows what's popular. But even in the songs that's popular, you can hear the lyricism in there, the little slick lines and shit. But if you want to throw her on like a East Coast beat or some slow shit and hear her rap, she can rap. Like
Man,
she's her.
The lady
She's
got
her.
a fucking #1 fucking K-pop song.
Yeah.
Like, right, she got a song with Jungkook from, was it BTS? And she has like a top charting K-pop song. Like
Lotto's hard.
Yeah. Shout out to Lotto. I fucking.
I'm gonna be in the. We got a close connect that's really close with Lotto. It's gonna happen one day. Yeah. We got a super close connect where we did the By Any Means video for the record I have with Drummer Boy. We did that video and we did in Atlanta, and the studio we did the video scene in what's his name? Ike Morris, and he's touched everything, and he's been working with Lotto since she was like 10. Like she's like family. And I'm like, we gonna make that connect one day. Like he has, the pictures on the wall with all, and he showed us, the first time we got to see, I've never seen one, a fucking master, a real one. Like the with the case. Like an actual case master. You know what I mean? Like he's been getting money in the music industry the right way for a very long time.
Shout out to Ike.
Yes. Mr. Morris. Shout out to him.
Yeah, that's a good lineup. Hey, y'all females need to get y'all shit together and put that petty down, and y'all just need to make some fire ass
women
music.
Empowerment.
Man, it was a time when I used to call myself being rapper Dymond, right? I was like, yeah, let's do these rap songs with these Arizona females, right? And none of these hoes wanted to get on my song. I was like, you know what?
And you honestly one of the dopest out here.
I was like, y'all don't want to. Y'all did none of these females wanted to get on my song. It was one girl that I did a song with, and it just we really didn't get a chance to put it out and do much with it. But outside of Explicit, there is no other girls besides Jazzy J that I have a song with.
I think that the bigger thing that the females don't see is how, like, when men get on a song together, we still trying to kill them. Like, I think women just need to kind of have that same thing. Like, I'm about to kill you on this record.
Stop being catty. Like, drop a fire ass record. And I think like if more women can like show unity, like that's why like I love like Gloss Up and Slimmeroni and all of them, because they make these ghetto ass, catchy ass hood rap songs that I fucking love, and
having a good time,
and they do not bang on each other, and it's just like they just a group of friends. They all came out around the same time. They all friends with Glorilla, and they all like K Carbon. All of them is on different labels, but they all come back and do songs with each other, and it's fun.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I like Sexy Red, Big Sexy.
Yeah.
Cause like Big Sexy don't play that whole politics shit. She
just be moving.
She's just out here having fun, and I think if more women realize like it's more power in us being together than going against each other, because my fan base is not going to take away from your fan base, because what you eat don't make me shit, and we don't have the same thing. So being able to share a platform, because people have so many vast different tastes, like my money is not going to step on yours and vice versa. If anything, it's going to give us a broader platform.
Facts.
And be able to touch an audience that in other situations we ordinarily might not have been able to touch. And I think they need to have that like cohesiveness. And like Nicki Minaj and Cardi B.
Hey, Nicki Minaj,
stop it.
Cardi B, international tour. What is that bag?
I'm telling you, like, they need to stop it.
They would make more money than they've probably made already in their whole life in that one tour.
Nicki needs to go pack up Papa Bear and take him over there to go play with fucking Wave and Culture while these two bitches go in the studio and fucking crank out some fucking hits.
Hey, the crazy thing, they wouldn't even need to even make no songs together. They could just literally go tour.
They be fighting over who gonna be the headliner.
Just switch every night. Switch every night. That bag they would make more than they made in their career that one tour for easy.
They would have to do a concert where Cardi B starts singing "Be Careful" and then Nicki Minaj sings her next song. They would have to go back to back to back to back, because they
even if they made it like, imagine a tour where it even said Nicki versus Cardi, like, and they looking at each other like you already buying that.
Yeah, you just
It's
gotta worry
done.
about them fucking Barbs and Barty gangs
You
coming in
done.
there throwing
Fans
shit at
be
each other
more-
and trying to
the
fight each
fans
other.
be
It like the
more-
fans,
That's a fact.
the fans and the drama from the fans, and like when you have like great women artists. And the thing is, like, Nicki, I love the fact that she writes her own music, but at this point, who cares who writes
Nobody,
her own
they don't
music?
give a
Like,
shit no more.
Songwriter is a job for a reason, right? They like it's a job.
Facts.
It's a songwriter is a job. So I wouldn't care if Cardi B wrote a lyric.
And it's
She
dope.
served the bass.
It's dope. Like, I've never had anyone write any of my records before ever, but it's dope that like I've written words and Tony's like, oh, say it this way. Like, oh, it would be dope if you said it like underneath this way or at this tone, because I didn't hear it that way like when I wrote it. But somebody telling you like, oh, say it this way, like, you know what I mean? Everybody's different.
Everybody has help in the studio. Like it is what it is. Can't not one person say that I went in the studio and I did this all by myself and nobody had any input. And that's what makes great records. You know what I'm saying? Like that's why you gotta send it to a different mixing engineer than a different mastering engineer, because you're not gonna
the ear is different.
have the person that made the beat mix the record down. Like that's why so many hands that touch it in post production.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have these people. And if people was just more accepting and saying like, hey, like let's do this together instead of let's doing it apart, because it actually costs less money though too to do it together.
You ain't lying.
Like you can save a lot more money and you can have a bigger bag if people just decided to work together. And that's one thing that I hope that we see in 2024 when it comes to like Arizona hip hop and the Arizona music scene. Like I can only hope that we see so many of these artists that have been each other's ops because of the side of the town that they live on and their neighborhoods and who they friends with. Like it's so many of these dope artists that because of politics or what have you, they can't do songs with each other because of who they are and who they have friends with and where they from. Like, and there's so many dope people that I'm like, if you put him with him and then you let him make the beat and you
it'd be
to
go
him to
crazy.
Mix it, like
yeah.
this would be like a dynamic ass fucking song. But like, going into the next year, like I think people need to set aside ego and set aside pride and just work for the greater good of the common cause of having good music and making Arizona look like a place that people want to come to and people want to buy into. Because like if you have all of the media and everybody in Arizona talking trash about the artist and putting the artist down, like if I'm a person that's spending money and trying to bring a concert to town or bring people in, I'm probably going to overlook y'all because of the type of drama that's coming in.
Yeah.
Like when the first thing that you Google and you look up, you see a bunch of these Arizona girls fighting in the parking lot, and I'm like,
oh yeah.
I'm like, why are y'all fighting? Like, and you see the dudes doing some extra corny stuff, and I'm like, why is this even like the topic of the conversation? Like, y'all need to put out some good quality music and put out some good content and show people like this is what we are. Like,
100%.
I hate how we look, compared to other places like the Atlantas and the Chicagos and the Florida, because like I'm from Chicago where don't nobody like each other and everybody's smoking on each other's dead op anyway, right?
Mm-hmm.
But in Chicago, when somebody coming out, even if it's your op, it seems like the whole city
be pushing
is behind. Like every radio station, every media outlet, everybody is pushing behind this person. Like they might still have their ops that they have beef with, but ain't nobody stopping each other's money.
Yeah. Well, that's how the thing is that be stopping the Arizona artists to pop is like, as a conglomerate, you got to push an artist in your state to where he's so big that he has no choice but to bleed into other places. But that's where it starts. It has a start where it's like every time I'm in the club, oh shit, they playing this record. I go to this club, they playing this record. I go to this club, playing this record. We're not there yet. At some point, it will be.
And that's because, like you said, the relationships, and they don't have the right relationships with the DJs where the DJs want to reach out. Like, you had DJs from all over the country reaching out to you about your record.
Yeah.
And, like, you literally had one of the first records that I've heard in a long time that more than one DJ was actually playing this record in the clubs and playing this record in Arizona. And I'm like, why is this record not bigger? Like, why is this man not booked at everything that y'all got going on here?
I say it all the time.
This record was a great record.
Now, I like at some point I see it happening, but like Blaze used to tell me, he's like, you know what I mean? I'm not in the clubs and I'm not here in the streets like I used to be. Right now, it's these younger cats, these younger names. They're in there, and it's no knock at them, but they want to play the popular record that's out right now. They don't want, you know what I mean? Like they want.
Don't even play the popular record that's out, because if I go to an Arizona club and hear Shoulder Lean one more motherfucking time, like like no disrespect to Young Dro, but
I just I think it'll happen one day. I said the same thing. I was just like, but I'm not knocking nobody. I'm like, you know what I mean? Like the way I perform, you know, there's a few people, CO Yante. I love CO Yante as far as energy on stage is crazy.
Yeah, that nigga do
back flips with the Glocks and stuff. And if people see me perform, I had the dancers come out, stuff like that. And one thing I said is not even just me, but I've said it so many times. Like when there's big names that come out here for a show, or there should be these people who are opening the doors or who are doing things should be like, hey, Sir Will should be on the show. Like Sir Will should be on the show. Richie should be on the show. CO Yante should be on the show. Like it should be stuff like that.
When you think about like payola, like anybody that got $1,000
can be on the show.
Can be on this show, and not because like I pay money to be on shows, and I'm like, I don't even think I go with this mix, but you know,
but they'll let you on.
But they'll let me go on because this is what I decide that I want to, you know, pay to do right now.
Yep.
And you know, hindsight is 20/20, and I'm just looking at it, you know, from a different set of eyes now. And it's like, bro, if we stack these shows with people who actually
deserve
good music,
yes,
the people would actually stay in their seats
100%.
instead of going to the concession stand.
Yes,
they'll actually do a call to action. So when you tell them to Shazam it, goddamn it, they'll actually get on Shazam. Like you tell them to Shazam it, and your song that you're playing is on Shazam, and you got 1,000 people in the venue, and even if only 300, which is 30% of them, Shazam your song,
still
that's
win.
doing it at one time. That's going to trigger an algorithm. Like, and people don't understand, like those little small things like that is what gets you into this little digital matrix for people to know who you are outside of your
payola shit serious. Family. I won't say the artist name, but I had an artist. We was at a real good show, great venue, a lot of people there, over 500 or so, and it was his first time ever performing. I'm like, dang, your first time ever performing, and you're in front of this crowd, like you don't even know who you are really on stage yet, and it showed. You know what I mean? But it's like he paid somebody to get up there, and they let him up there, and we had to sit through it. And shit, you never know. He might be like, I ain't never doing this again, because you know what I mean. That payola is crazy.
I've had to sit through quite a few of those. like who the fuck is this, and where'd they come from? And looking around like, why? And I think like once these promoters and these people who actually have a hand in, you know, marketing and putting these artists out there, like once they start taking the craft serious again and like really putting qualified artists on the stage when these big people come into town and doing it the right way, I think we will finally have our breakthrough artists in Arizona. I think that like, and I also think it's rude when Arizona has shows and I come in with 40 of my people and then they watch me perform and then they leave and you've been there all day waiting on your turn to go on stage and now you performing to an empty crowd. Like, I think that's very disrespectful, especially as an artist, to leave when somebody else is performing, because we're supposed to be showing love to each other and showing love to each other. So I shouldn't be able to just leave and just walk out with all of my fans in the middle of the show while everybody else is there. Like, that's whack as hell.
Yeah, and these promoters need to know how much more control they have too, because we'll let the out of towner promoters come in and dictate the whole show. But you as a promoter being here should be like, hey, listen, no, these fucking artists are going on too, no matter what. Like, you coming to my state, you're coming to my city.
They need
like,
to get their weight up.
They need to get their weight up.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of them ain't playing with no money, though. When you think about it, like, so when these other people is coming out of town and they got the bag, you know, to back up what they talking, people are going to be submissive to whoever got the money. The person who makes the money makes the rules. And I think that, like, if, you know, we as a Arizona community, like, we had like a couple of artists that we really stood behind and pressed the line and knew that these are great artists, and people from, you know, teams come together and say like, hey, you know, we can go get, you know, said above artists, you know, for X amount of dollars, and people actually bring somebody out that people would actually go see, and then they put their own show together. I think only in those type of situations will people really get the type of recognition that they deserve. But it's going to take them having to invest in themselves and, you know, bootstrap their investment. Like when you watch Shark Tank?
I love
If you
Shark
ever
Tank.
notice, the only people who really get the money when they start asking you how you getting your money is people who bootstrap their investment.
Mm-hmm.
They'd take somebody who went and took out 1,000 loans before they went and took somebody who got money from their relatives
That's a fact.
that own a piece of the company.
That's a fact.
Like, and Shark Tank is the cheat code. Like, that's a bunch of millionaires and billionaires that's spending money buying into brands, products, and companies. This is what they're doing. And if you can't like take anything away from anything, you have to put your own money in. Like, if you don't have an investment, if you don't have nothing to put in, nobody's going to want to put no money in you because you don't even believe in yourself enough to put no money behind yourself. So how you gonna talk me into putting 20 bands behind you and I ain't even seen you put $200 behind yourself?
That's a fact. That's a big fact.
But I appreciate you.
I appreciate it. Like our connection is good. We keep going. This is gonna be it's gonna be a Joe Budden podcast, 3.5, 4 hours.
Yeah, so we definitely gonna have to get you back in when you drop that mixtape. Because,
appreciate it.
You did say you're gonna have some great people on there that I'm interested to hear that body of work.
Yep.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Sir
you.
Will. Thank you so much, Tony Renee, for making this possible. And this is Dymond Studded with Pop Politics and Culture. Please check in with Sir Will on social media. His handle is @IamSirWill. You can find him just typing in Sir Will on Apple Music, Spotify, Tidal. Make sure you like stream their music, but also don't stream it. Just go ahead and just buy the song because it does more justice for the artist in terms of how their music is going to get pushed through the system with actual sales. But that's a whole nother conversation
Yep.
on why actually buying the music pushes the music out to a bigger audience than just streaming it. And we'll catch you in 2024. This is the last show of the year, so thank you for doing my last show of the year with me.
Thank you for having me.
You're so dope.
Yeah, that was good.
That was super good.
You're dope. I like you.
I appreciate it. I like you too.